Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial SME. If you've just joined the conversation, we are exploring the untapped opportunities that exist within South Africa's township market. My expert guest is Nandi Qubeka from Nedbank Private Wealth. Nandi, you know, Amazon just came into the room.
Yes.
And going to challenge one of the biggest players. Now, I mean, Takealot is not a small player. When I see those big players coming to take on each other, I then think about Ndate in my neighborhood, whether it's ever going to even survive if the two giants are going to be consuming each other. Is this thing going to really work for the small person?
Look, I think that's a fair point. What position does, the entry of a giant like Amazon into the local market have? I think it's important to know that there's something that Pilani has that Amazon doesn't have. And those are the unique insights of what South African consumers want, what they need, what they prefer. He may not have the scale that Amazon has, but he certainly has those unique insights that Amazon doesn't. And maybe Amazon can, create a platform for him to be able to access parts of the market that he hasn't been able to access before. So I think while one can see it as a threat, potentially there's equally an opportunity there as well.
Does he have access to funds to make him grow, to be stronger, to expand, to hopefully become a long player in the future?
Yeah, look, I think that is certainly a challenge that is faced by a lot of small businesses in South Africa. Like I've said, my expertise is in the area of, researching listed players, so I can't speak intimately to, the funding challenges that businesses have. But again, back to my point, I think while one can recognize the threat that Amazon poses in entering the South African market, I think it's important to look at the potential opportunities there as well.
You mentioned this and I didn't probe you on it. What are some of the trending opportunities in this township market? What are those things that are starting to look like, wow, this is exciting and this is growing?
So maybe I'll make a few observations from the listed retail space. So I think amongst the retailers, there are those who've sort of long recognized that, the township market is a real and profitable opportunity, and they've positioned their businesses accordingly. And then there are those players who have only really in the last maybe 2 or 3 years started to make an approach. So I'll use ShopRite, the ShopRite group, as an example. I think they are one of the winners in terms of, really trying to capture this opportunity. So ShopRite really has quite a clear segmentation strategy. They have 3 supermarket brands that serve 3 distinct consumer segments. They have Checkers, they have ShopRite, they have USave. So USave really caters to the low-income consumer, and I think as a format is highly relevant to the township consumer. What ShopRite has done is they've created a format called USave Ekasi. So out of 5 or 6 shopping containers, they've created a small, flexible format supermarket, essentially. And in doing that, what they've done is to overcome some of the challenges that I think retailers face in trying to enter some of the township markets. One of the key challenges being a lack of access to developable land, for instance. So that's one, I think, sort of retail strategy that is working. I think another name I can point out is maybe the Pepco Group, who has a business called Flash. So Flash provides payment devices to informal traders. A lot of them in the township.
Then,
yes.
The question is, how does then Ndate compete with those that have been created now for that market that he's been saving all along? What does he have to do to keep up his competitive edge against those big players?
So I think Ndate doesn't necessarily have to see himself as competing with the big brands necessarily. He needs to see the gap that only he can fill. So I mentioned Flash and that they provide payment devices to informal traders. If Ndate perhaps didn't have a payment mechanism in his business before, here's an opportunity to, modernize your business by having a payment device and, a big brand behind it that's running sort of the background operational aspects of that. That's an opportunity. For Ndate the opportunity is, the intimate knowledge he has of the preferences and needs of the community he serves. So that's really where the small and local businesses need to focus, is where their unique insights are.
In spite of what politicians say, there are a lot of people in townships, and this is my final question to you, that still own land. They've got space that can be used by retailers, by other people. They could be landlords. Are there opportunities there as this township economy grows? Those of us who own a piece of land could be using to maximize on this growth that's happening in the township economy.
I'd like to think so. I think one of the important aspects of big businesses coming into the townships is that they need to have an inclusive approach.
Yeah.
They need to engage local communities in order to be able to see, what are their needs, what are their priorities, what are the opportunities for partnership that are available, and if there, is land that is owned by a local where there's an opportunity to build a shopping center or whatever, whatever.
Or even the small shack, the U-Save shack, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Precisely, but it's only in engaging the local communities, in taking that partnership approach, that these businesses can unlock these opportunities, and locals in communities can benefit from those as well.
Well, I've seen people benefiting from at least riding motorcycles and delivering product. I'm hoping it also grows to people who own land and can grow their business. Nandi, it's been beautiful talking to you tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rams.
And thank you for watching the Entrepreneurial SME. From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.
Telkom Business, behind South African businesses' drive to thrive.